Hi all, welcome back. I am Erin, the Two Martini Stitcher, here on YouTube and Instagram. My pronouns are she, her, and I am back for a little cross-stitching update. If you are new, welcome. This is where I talk about almost exclusively cross-stitch, occasionally a little bit of knitting, which I actually did pick back up, but I didn't bring with me. I'll show it next time because there's oddly a lot of projects to show. I mean, not oddly. If you're new here, I am doing 100 starts this year in celebration of my 50th birthday that's coming up in just a couple weeks. So that's going to be fun. I I slotted in some really fun special projects to start this month in particular. So that's going to be really exciting. Ooh, today is Tuesday, March 4th. So I'm coming back with like a second half of February update, all the things that I started and worked on the second half of February. And then I'm going to preview what I'm going to start in the next couple of weeks. So that way, if you have any of these projects kitted up or even a whip and want to stitch along with me in the next couple of weeks, that would be super fun. I'm just going to jump right in because I'm kind of pushing the light a little bit here in Seattle, and I also still need to take the dog out. So not a whole lot of life updates or anything like that. I think we're just going to get straight to the stitching. I think I have a little seed stuck in my throat. I'm going to try really hard not to cough. Okay. The first thing I always start off showing is there are a handful of older works in progress that I do work on a little bit in and amongst all the new starts. So I'm going to show those first because, that's just the little routine we've gotten ourselves into. And the first one is my daily stitch, which is this 2018 set of Fragments in Time by Summer House Stitchworks. And I'm getting close. I know I've been saying I think I'm going to finish this in March. I'm going to finish this in March. And yeah, I'll show you where I am. So, and I've got threaded needles just hanging around. That's just that I've unthreaded needles and threaded needles just hanging on this project. That's just how it goes when you work on something a little bit every day. Okay, here we are. So I can't remember. Had I started this one yet? Over here, I'll put a picture up here of where it was in my last video because I'm not really sure. But I've been just slowly working on this border's all done now. So I just have this little bit of border here. And so I'm just kind of picking at that as the colors come up in this last block. So we're getting really close. Will this be done when I'm back in the middle of March? In like 10, 11 days? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But it's really close. Very pretty. This is on a piece of 32 count linen R&R. Can't remember the color. Might be Plum Street Blend. And I am using mostly called for colors. I subbed the yellow and have had to add in, I ran out of, I think it's Colonial Rose. I can't remember. Antique Rose. And I found a Fiberlicious in my stash that's very similar. So there it is. So close. So that's the daily stitch. Yeah, and see now the threaded needles. If you're new, welcome. It's this amount of chaos every time. I just don't know what else to tell you. That's just it's how it goes. Progress, not perfection. That's what we're looking for. Okay. This project, And a Forest Screw, I picked up this year to participate in Motifa Week, which is the brainchild, I believe, of Julian Stitches. And I jumped on. I jumped on because I have this project and would like to get some momentum on it. So I've been doing a Motifa Week on Sundays. I was traveling this past Sunday, so I didn't get a motif in this Sunday, but that's okay, that happened. So I think since you saw it last, the only thing that's gone in is this squiggly tree there. So I did this little squiggly tree I'm pretty sure that's true, but I'll put a picture in of what it looked like in case that's not true. But I think that squiggly tree is the only thing that I have put in the past couple weeks. However, this Sunday I'm going to kind of make up for it, and I'm going to do this bigger tree. And I'm going to kind of count that as 2 weeks worth of motif a week, because there's really no rules. There's no rules in cross stitch. And any bit of progress is good progress. Oh, and I did cut off the extra fabric on the bottom because I had reached the bottom. So now it's less fabric to wrangle. I know that I don't need all of that, but when I get to the center, then maybe I'll measure it over and cut it off again. So that is And for a Screw. And then this project is my Long Dog Leap Day Sal. I started this last year on Leap Day and plans to finish it by Leap Day in 2028. And I kind of work on this in between the starts. So if I, feel like I'm trying to start 2 projects a week because I don't want to get to the end of the year and have to be rushing them in. So that's about the pace that I'm starting things. So I tend to spend like 2, maybe 3 days on a start. And then if I have an extra kind of day in between, I'll work on this. And I think I got some decent progress in since you've seen this last. I'll put a photo up of where it was last time. And here it is now. This is also a whole lot of fabric. There it is. So I think that I had like maybe part of this column done. So I did this column, finished this vignette in the archway, and then I've started working on like this column over here to kind of match. It'll be half of it. So I can do this one, and then there's another row of columns. I'll put a picture of what it's going to look like finished as well, so you can see. So I'm working my way down the left-hand side. So there's another row of archways and then a band at the bottom. It is beautiful. This is a 36 count Cedar River linen in tephra. Absolutely gorgeous with Mrs. Sadis River. And then the darker is an MPI silk. And I always tell you I don't know what number it is, and I'm actually going to dig it out for you this time. 834. So it's 834 is the MPI color on that like dark green, that dark green teal. That just kind of brings out these little pops of the darker in the Mrs. Sadis silk. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it so much. Oh, I love this project. And I think I'm like maybe 11 or 12% now. I'm not going to make it to 25 I didn't. February's over. I knew I wasn't going to catch up, but my goal is to be to 50% by next February to kind of be on track. That's usually all of the older whips that I have that I've been working on, but I pulled out one additional project yesterday for Jen from Jen Fiberweb's birthday. She was starting Sarah Spencer from Hands on Design for her birthday, which I have sort of stitched before. That's a long story that we're not going into here. But I said, well, I will pull out my current Hands Across the Sea whip, which is Tom's Foolery. I love it so much. I'm going to show you. I know that I have the cover page printed out. Here it is. In case you have not seen the magnificence that is Tom's Foolery. There it is. It's so good. Like there's big, huge pink kidney trees. This guy in like stripy pajamas. Like, I just love how colorful this is and how much stuff is crammed onto this sampler. Like, there's so many animals. Like, what is this? A red dog? Lion? I don't even know. It's so good. It's so good. So I picked this up and put some stitches in. I didn't get a lot of stitching done on this, but I got some stitches in to celebrate Jen's birthday. Happy birthday. Gotta celebrate all the March birthdays. So I know I put all these stems in, and I think a few of these doodads, and it's just, it just brings me happiness. You cannot be sad stitching with all of these wild colors. And this is all charted, I'm pretty sure, in like a Vero Soie or something like that. I kitted this up in, I think 2021 maybe, and I just pulled my DMC floss card and I took the DMC conversion that was listed and converted it all to like stash threads. But I think in the DMC this would be amazing too. Like, look at all those fun, look at that riot of colors. So good. So fun. So that was really fun to get out and stitch on for a day. And someday it will come back out as a focus piece, but probably not this year. All right. So what have I been starting the end of February? This first one, I think I had just started in my last Flosstube and told you that I was going to work on it for one more night and possibly finish it, and I did. Yay! So this is Redbird Sampler by Heart and Hand, and yeah, it came with the chart, came with the little button. I can't remember what red floss it called for, but I did it in Ribbon Red by Classic Colorworks, which I love. It's one of my favorites, and this was a very fun quick stitch. 2 evenings, super great, love it. I'm going to have to make it into some little pillow. But in the meantime, it goes on the pile of finishes. All right. My next start was like my first big like BAP size start for the year. And that's Every Opening Flower. So pretty. And lots of people started this with me on the 20th. So fun seeing everybody's whips. And this is mine. I'm doing this with, I think, all called for colors on a piece of 36 count R&R fabric in Liberty Gathering Gray. And it is just, it's just pretty. It's just so pretty. And these motifs over here have all these little eyelets in them that were just so fun. And so there's my start. There's my start. It felt like a pretty good start. This was, I think, 2 nights of stitching. So maybe 3. It might have been 2.5 or 3, but I love doing eyelets. They're really fun, and they just take that motif to the next level. Looks really good. Looks so good. So pretty. This is one of those charts that's just pretty. And as you're stitching it, you're just like, it's so pretty. The colors are so nice. And I can't wait to do this like tree and how, the whole thing. The whole thing is just spectacular. So that was Every Opening Flower. And then my next start was also a with thy needle and thread. Or is it just with thy needle? Yeah, with thy needle and thread. No, I'm not losing my mind. And that's Quaker Sewing Tray, which I've had kitted up just for years. And I have the tray and everything to finish it in, and I was so excited to start it. And when I did, funny enough, I don't need a needle in that. We're gonna put that right there. When I started it, I'm a left corner starter. What was the first motif? See, even the great designers, they they reuse motifs. So it's the same one from every opening flower. This one doesn't call for the eyelets in the middle, and even though I was like a little tempted to add them, there's not like a really light floss in this. This is a very minimal floss list, so I just left it. But there is my start on Quaker sewing tray. Also, so pretty. This is a 32 count linen in the pink by R&R. The chart calls for 32 count linen, which I did, and I've had this beautiful pink. As I said, this has been kitted up for ages. And I think that's to fit in the tray, but it also calls for stitching with one strand, which I love. My go-to is 36 with one strand, and so I did. And look how nice that looks on 32 count. 32 count, one strand, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So pretty. And this is not that big of a chart, and so I've put it on a list of close to a finish, even though, I mean, it's not really, really super close to a finish, but also this was like 2 nights of stitching. And so I feel like 3 or 4 would finish this up. So, because this is over halfway, like there's not much more over here, to be honest, but there is a big house that is a little more dense. So I guess it's actually almost halfway. Yeah, I think 3, maybe 4 nights of stitching would finish this up. So who knows? That might pop back out later this year if I'm looking for a finish. Yeah, so you can see it's like I have this basket, and then the house is kind of dense, but I'm still saying it's close to a finish. And then I went out of town for a very quick weekend trip, and I took with me this little kit that I had from Ink Circles, 2 birds in a hand. It has the full chart for the sampler, but this kit had just enough floss for this little top part motif, and it comes with like the fabric and finishing instructions to do the little pillow with the embroidered edge. And this was a plain start and finish. Look at that. Isn't it so pretty? I don't know what this floss is it might be a Carrie's Creations. I'm not really sure what this floss is that she included. But it's really pretty. Really pretty. So done. Start and finish on 2 birds in a hand. And that will also go in the pile of things to finish. And Tracy included really nice instructions on how to do this little embroidered edge. So I'm going to give that a try at some point. I don't know when, but at some point. So that was 2 starts and finishes. And then I also took with me a couple of projects that I thought I might be able to finish while I was traveling, and I got another finish. So this I started earlier in the month, also Ink Circles. This is Hearts Entwined, which you can get on Tracy's site. I double checked. This is for sale. It was part of the Cottage Garden Threads Hearts for Pam bundle package, but you can purchase just the chart if you want it. So I used all of the Cottage Garden Threads that it called for that were part of that set, and this is a piece of, I think it's 32 count. I never bothered to measure it out. I did use 2 strands on this. I think it's 32 count, and this was just a color and cotton from a grab bag. So I have no idea what color it is. But it came out so good. I love it so much. It's so fun. I kind of want to make it into maybe a little like project bag or something. And by I mean somebody I give it to and pay to do that for me. I have beginner at best sewing skills. I have a sewing machine. I can do rudimentary things with it. Okay, that's everything I stitched whips, starts, 3 finishes. So that's always fun. I love that. And now I thought I would kind of preview what I'm going to be starting here this first half of March. So that way, if you have these, you can get started with me. And I'm not totally sure what order I'm going to start them in. I kind of think I do. Let's see. The first thing that I am starting, even though I've been back and forth about what I'm doing with this, tonight, Tuesday, March 4th, I am starting Sir Thomas. I am doing 1 turkey pattern every single month, so I'll start 12 turkeys this year if you're new. This is the most magnificent of the turkeys, so it had to get started in my birthday month. So many people have stitched this in the past couple years or are currently stitching it. He is absolutely magnificent with lots of beads and sparkly threads, and I'm very, very excited. So I'm getting started. My hang up was I had originally thought I was just going to do him and do it as a big stand up. However, everybody that has stitched him has said that this corn is so fun to stitch and looks so amazing stitched up. So originally I thought, well, I would stitch him, and then if I felt like I wanted to go in and do the corn, I would. However, I am a top left starter usually. If I'm doing just him, I would probably center start, which I don't a lot of times enjoy doing. So I think I'm going to lean on the wisdom of the stitching community and stitch the corn. I figure worst comes to worst, I stitch one of them and decide I don't want to do 3 more, and then he just gets cut out and do a stand-up. Right? I have all the materials, so I should just stitch the corn. I went with like the called for fabric, which is 28 count China Pearl Jobelin by Witchell. That would normally not be my thing, but Sarah, my friend Sarah Memphis E, said that she bought the called for fabric and loved it and thought it was like the greatest thing to stitch on. So I'm hoping that's the case for me too. If it's not, then I will find something else. But we're going to start there. All the DMCs, and then all the beads and shiny things, and he's going to be fantastic. He's going to be fantastic. So I am finally starting Sir Thomas after wanting to stitch him for years and years, and I am so excited. I even have like, see, he's so special. He even gets like thread jewelry. That's a special stitch. All right, so that's Sir Thomas getting started. And then I think my next start after that, because I'm going to need something I think a little smaller to work on, is going to be Lucy Beam Immortal. Buying cross stitch like I'm immortal. Very pertinent, especially right now with all the designers releasing all the new things. Yes, I have purchased some Nashville Market pre-orders from Abby Topknot. She's the girl. She's my girl. Best customer service around, and the one of the brain children of X Stitch the Rainbow. So go check her out, Abby Topknot, if you are still shopping for market things. So I'm sure when those come in, you will see them. But in the meantime, this is very apropos because I am in fact buying cross stitch like I'm immortal. I hope to live a long time. I am stitching this on something. Oh, this is 36 count flannel flower by Fox and Rabbit. Beautiful. Love, love, love. And it's not called for colors. I just picked, I'm going with, the same feel. I'm going with the same feel, but this is some color and cotton and forbidden fiber threads. So there we go. buying cross stitch like I'm immortal. Don't we all? I'm pretty sure that after this year I will be needing to live quite a while just to finish my whips. It's good. It's all fine. After that, you're gonna notice in March, being that we're coming into spring, I am starting a lot of spring themed things. And one of the spring themed things I am starting is, if I can find it in here, there's a bunch of charts in here. Here we go. Let's Talk Spring by Hands On Design. So I have autumn already completed of this series and winter started. So I had bought, I'm pretty sure this is 18 count or 16 count Be Stitch Me chalkboard. And I bought like a half yard of it to do all of these. Oh, here, the tag's still on it. It is 16 count, 2 strands. And so I'm gonna start spring down here. So this will be spring, and I'm just using all of the called for DMC. And there's, you know, a whole bunch of 3865 in here because you need a bunch of it for this. And so that will be a start sometime next week, I think. Let me know if you have that, want to start it, stitching it, want to stitch along. There's a lot of stuff in there. And then, do you all remember this bag? This also houses an entire seasonal series worth of projects. And that is the Year in the Woods set by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I am going to be starting the raccoon. Ah, I love him. I love him so much. And I think that this is, yep. This is the threads and fabric for the raccoon. So I'm going to be stitching him on this 36 count color and cotton. This was just, it says limited edition. I think this was maybe a misdye that they put up. And I think it's going to look great. I think that little raccoon's going to look amazing. And this might be called for colors. No. I think it calls for something else overdyed, and I chose these two instead. Classic Colorworks. I mean, same. But most of their charts call for DMC except for 2 like overdyed, which I love because then just like pick where it's going to have the most impact, and then it makes it a little less expensive to kit up, and DMC is great. So the raccoon. So those are my next 4 starts for the first half of March here. So let me know if you're going to start along or stitch along any of those with me, and I will be back in a couple weeks to show you all those starts and where I get on my whips. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me for a little bit. It's always good to spend time with our communities and kind of have a little bit of time to come together amidst all of the chaos that life throws us. And I hope you are all doing well and enjoy your stitching. Bye.